Internal Affairs Inspector Harold McClellan's most difficult moment as a Buffalo police officer did not involve his job of policing the police. It happened when he learned his brother had been killed in the line of duty. "I experienced my brother's death both as a family member and as a police officer," McClellan said. "I think about him a lot. We used to sit and talk about the job and I miss that." Robert McClellan was fatally struck by a motorist in 1998 while chasing a fugitive across the Kensington Expressway. But when Harold McClellan retired last week, he also had plenty of positive memories from his 33 years in law enforcement. Like the times an elderly bedridden woman frequently called 911 and hung up, knowing it would bring the police. "We basically would go there and keep her company. She was lonely. One time I noticed an old piano and touched the keys and said, 'Hey, this is out of tune.' She yelled from the bedroom, 'No, it's not,'" recalled McClellan, who plays piano by ear. Another time as a young officer on his way to work, McClellan spotted two city streets worker struggling with an individual. "I stopped my car and handcuffed the man. He had tried to steal their city truck," he said. The next day McClellan was summoned to the office of Inspector James A. Mahoney, head of Internal Affairs. "I started worrying I did something wrong, but when I got to his office he told me he had received a call telling him how I arrested the man. He said, 'I want to commend you and tell you what a great job you did,'" McClellan said. "I said, 'Thank you, sir,' and left." McClellan could not have imagined that in time he would hold the same job as Mahoney. But after 20 years in patrol, which he called the backbone of the department, he said the police administration asked him to consider working as an internal affairs captain. It was a good match. 7 years ago, he was promoted to inspector and head of the division. His upbringing helped shape him for the job. At 5 years old on Thanksgiving 1966, his father was killed in a car accident. As the oldest child, McClellan started taking on responsibilities and by his teenager years was the man of the family. That required discipline. With his mother disabled, he began working full-time at 17 in a local factory to help pay the bills. He also took police exams and was hired by Buffalo in 1984. Acknowledging that his job overseeing investigations of alleged police misdeeds makes him unpopular among his colleagues, McClellan said the work he and his staff perform is a necessity. In any organization, discipline must be maintained. A lack of discipline is one of the biggest morale killers. Every organization has a few bad apples, but the overwhelming majority of Buffalo police officers are hardworking, professional, and dedicated, he said. His most enjoyable years were spent in patrol, which included serving as chief of the Northeast and Ferry-Fillmore districts. Yet it was during that time that McClellan experienced a visit to his home no relative of a police officer ever wants to receive. "An officer from Central District knocked on my door.